Hey, good afternoon.
And today we decided to talk about the conviction of Bill Cosby. And before I go any further, I'm gonna turn it over to Miss J and let
Oh,
Miss J let you guys know the rules and also uh, you know let her give her input, and then I'll be coming in and out. And please call in and give us your opinion about the conviction of Bill Cosby. Go ahead on, Miss J.
okay. I'm not sure about any rules, but you can feel free to say what you want because everybody has different emotions, everybody has different feelings. Um, Me personally, I'm on the borderline because one, I just I feel bad that they put him on trial at such a late age in his life, with so many illnesses, including mental illnesses and physical illnesses. Then I also feel that because of the Bill Cosby that we all grew up with, I'm kind of torn about but between that Bill Cosby and the Bill Cosby that um, went to trial. And I think that a lot of people are. Um, there's a lot of conspiracies about
Yeah,
why he went to try, why they went so far as to prosecute him. Some conspiracies are that he was trying to purchase NBC and they had a hand in paying off the ladies. There's all kind of things going on out there. Um, I just, feel like we just in a place where we have to be responsible for our actions no matter who we are. And I think the stardom and the platform that we put him on, or the pedestal, and in the pedestal that they put him on, maybe made him think that there was rules that he can do, get away with, that they were getting away with. That was a time where a lot of them were doing wrong. I really hope that if they're going to go this far with Bill Cosby, that all the rest of these celebrities that are out there doing the same thing receive similar punishments. I mean, I just don't want it to stop at him to make him an scapegoat, especially with our climate right now, with all the, us being divided racially more than we are normally. Was that part of it because of the current climate of our country right now? It's a lot of things out there. So, I'm just playing devil advocate. I don't believe that no one should get away with insulting, attacking sexually a woman in any shape, form, or fashion. Um, I I think about like going back to how far they went back. All those kind of things kind of bugged me. How far they went back. Um, I think the biggest thing that hung Mr. Cosby though was when he said he gave the drugs to the ladies. You know, um, and back then a lot of people were pill popping. They were doing all kinds of things back in those days. So, it's just really hard. I don't know. It's really hard because, you know, I just can't get the Bill Cosby show and A Different World and all those kind of things out of my head because those shows were really valuable to the community during my time of growing up. I know now the kids are watching the repeats, but during our time, I mean, A Different World made everybody want to go to a black college, a black university, or at least to a college. And then, between Good Times and Bill Cosby show, we had the Evans coming up, and okay, you ain't got to be poor all the time. Then you had the Cosbys who showed you, oh yes, I'm a doctor and I'm a lawyer and we can have kids and we have family issues and we still black. So it's really a lot for me. For me, I'm torn. I feel bad that if he done it, I wish they would have got him sooner. I wish they wouldn't have waited to where he was already so broken. That's just how I feel about it.
yeah, and you're right, Miss J. Like Bill, he was actually a role model, for the black families. A doctor in the family. Kids. It was a functional family. And there's a lot of people, especially black folks. They really watched that show.
Yeah.
Bill started. I would think he was one of the pioneers that actually started black folks, to become doctors. because of that show. A
Yeah,
lot
that
of people
image.
start going to
Mm-hmm.
college and stuff because of that
Yeah,
show.
absolutely.
And my thing is, did Bill, what they're saying that he did all this. Now, did he let down the black family? And right now, everybody, I talk to a lot of people, and they's really upset. Number one, they're upset is because one gentleman was telling me, Emmett Till, right?
Yes.
Emmett Till, it was this white lady. She was involved in the killing of Emmett Till,
Right.
and she didn't get prosecuted is because she was 83 years old at the time.
Yes, I posted it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And now, what is Bill? 80 years old. He's blind. Now they want to put him in jail. He's mentally he's not right.
Right.
I can't. Is this racism?
Well, I think for Mr.
Do
Cosby,
race have to be involved in this? This is what confuses me.
well, I'm sure to some degree it does, but also I think for Mr. Cosby, like I said on this last trial, because of when he stated that he did give quaaludes, what I believe it was quaaludes, to the young ladies. When he mentioned that he did drug them, I think that kind of like, because when they interviewed a lot of the jurors, they said that was the thing that got them when he admitted that he drugged them. He actually said it. So and then some people say, well, his mind, his state of mind, and yada yada yada. I don't know, but that was what a lot of jurors. I saw a lot of interviews on different jurors and conversations, and when he admitted it that he was drugging them, that's the part that really caused them to convict him this time around. And again, I get what you're saying. Like, added no one, I was wondering why they didn't consider the age more, consider his health, 3 to 10 years. I don't even think he can do 3 or 10 years in prison, because of his situation. They were saying that even right now, somebody, I saw the other day that they was throwing stale hot dog buns at him, um in jail. So I think that's a lot. I don't know. There's been Twitters that people say they hope he die in jail. I just don't. I don't agree with what he did, but I don't wish death on anybody, and I don't.
Right.
I don't wish. I don't want to at this time in my life to like just forget everything he's done, like for universities, black students, black community, by setting an example and by giving young and other people opportunities that nobody else would give them. Some of those things for
Right.
me personally, I just, don't want to forget, even though he did something, terribly wrong. I'm a woman, so I would not want to be violated or drugged, you know. But I just feel like they just waited so long, and they waited to like it feel like they was trying to break him till he was just broken, you know, and that's the part that kind of makes me sad. But then at the same time, they're not going after these other people this hard. So that's my biggest pet peeve.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're going to go after him and destroy, you can't destroy something like his legacy, because if you're real people, you have to acknowledge what he has done. Now, we also have to acknowledge what he's been found guilty of as well. But I just really hope that they go hard for everybody. Everybody gets broken. You can't just break one man and don't break the rest of them.
Right. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I was born in 50, and I've seen a lot of things, coming up, and I know what racism is. You know, I know what it is. I lived through the era where it's those black only, white only water fountain, getting my hamburger at the back of the restaurant rather than be able to go in and sit down and eat me a hamburger. I lived that era, and for me to get out of my head that when you have an icon like Bill and OJ was another, you know, that the white man, look at them, their crime as more serious than a white man. I mean, because when I lived through that, I seen the difference, what they made. And I see a difference here. And especially when I was aware about the white lady, 83 years old, that had something to do with the murder of Mr. Kimmy.
Yeah.
It's just something, that's inside of me that's saying that that's not fair.
Yeah, 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 and it makes a lot of sense because to a certain degree, it doesn't seem fair. There's a lot of cases, not just the person you mentioned, but there's been a lot of people that have like killed like back in slavery. I should say slavery time. Excuse me, but back in the early, 30, 40s, 20s, whatever, when it was okay, pretty much legal to kill us. That they have not prosecuted for killing black people or so forth. So that's not just the first case. It's quite a few of those type of cases. But in the day and time, I really I'm for the Me Too movement. My concern with the Me Too movement is that we don't get carried away with trying to destroy everybody for because like some people lie, and I'm just saying it as a woman. Some women lie, and I don't want that one lie, to get back at someone, get revenge, or I'm gonna pay him back for 20 years ago. He thought he dumped me. I'm gonna get him now. Says I got this Me Too movement. I don't want it to be a thing of using for a thing of revenge because it was created for the everyday average woman until the celebrities got a hold of it and now they're using it, which I have no problem with entertainment. Any woman, any got a problem, they should speak up. But it has been going on for years until it just got blown up recently. And so, but I don't want us to get so caught up in that the entertainment part and the political part that we forget that there's a lot of women who don't get media attention, and we need to make sure that those voices are not silenced either. They need just as much of attention as those that are in entertainment or got celebrity status. And that's what my biggest concern with the whole Me Too is that I don't want the real purpose of it to be tainted and become something else, which it was created to heal and give people back their self-esteem and give them a voice. I want it to remain that. I just don't want it to become almost like a circus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I can understand. I think that movement, that Me Too movement, is very important for the women. Okay, but I'm like you. I don't want them to go. I wouldn't want to see it to go overboard.
Yeah.
And start focusing on one nationality. I don't want it to be just focused on white folks. I don't want it to be just focused on Mexicans or blacks or whatever. It's people who need to be focused on. That's who get focused on. Me myself, they said there was in the news that say like 60 people came forward. Okay, 60 people. Now I don't think that Bill raped 60 people.
I don't either.
And out of all of these people, how many blacks came forward? My understanding is no more than maybe one or two.
I'm not quite sure. I didn't
Okay.
look at that.
Uh,
Yeah, I said I'm not quite sure because I do know that you know not being sound not to sound disrespectful, but I'm sure back in those days, uh, especially for men of color and a man of power to be able to mingle, I should say, with Caucasian women probably was a big deal back then. You know what I mean? Because it was
right,
so taboo, it was so hands off, and
right,
so I think that probably was enticing. I think too, maybe there were some that thought he was going to leave his black wife and he never did. Women are human, and we're emotional. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, it could be a lot of conspiracies against the women that came forth, but I won't knock that because everybody that has had that experience should come forth, whether we look it in, believe it or not. It is their experience and it should be acknowledged. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like we were there. We don't know what actually took place and what did not take place. But the fact that he put himself in that predicament, he has to be responsible for that because he made, excuse me, because he made a choice. If he never made that choice to put himself in that predicament, then nobody would have any information on him. Do you know where I'm coming from? So that's why I said I'm in the middle. It's like that catch 22.
Well, I got someone want to join the conversation.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hello, caller. State your name and where you calling from. That's Andrew Benton from Long Beach.
Hey, Andrew.
Okay, yeah, Andrew. Yeah, you on the panels with us. Yeah. The discussion is about Bill Cosby conviction, and we wanted to hear your point of view with that about that also.
Well, I have different point of view, and it's one of the tricky things like this. When you do a history, no offense, but let's face it, like African American man, we know the consequences of history uh, for a black man, for women in general, whether it's criminal or not, if it's legal or not. But you put yourself in a predicament when you fool with so many, women of opposite race, or white, you put yourself in a situation that already,
Yeah.
based on what's going on in the country. But for
Yep.
other things, I think mostly it's two parts. A part of this song as well, for what he did and stuff he did against this, and it's something impossible for black men to get away with anything we do like that.
That's
And then you
true.
got to look at the negative. On the other hand, that people want to ruin. So you got two parts of the problem. You got one part is him, doing what he has done. And then you got another part where people want to destroy his legacy. In my opinion, was he tried to buy MVP a couple of times.
Yep.
He had lost his son also a while back, years ago, and he has done a lot. They have done a lot for other things. Everybody has good and bad parts of it. To throw away everything he's done that was good should be done. I think we should look at okay, everybody got to look out that side, and we should not just throw it all away. Because of choices, bad choices that he made.
Yeah.
I don't hate Bill Cosby or anything like that. But they know what to do, and sometimes catch up with.
Yeah.
And I think people saw the opportunity, to go in them. Whether all the women were truthful, probably not. But at the same time,
It was enough.
in his circumstance,
Yeah.
why he's taking now, let's face it, when we do it, I was that influence white men historically, whether he's done a crime or not. If something happened, if something go wrong, it's easy to take it down.
Yeah.
And then for R. Kelly situation, on the hand, all the evidence is there. Many people came out. They got police reports, medical reports on young women that he has taken advantage of, and he got some. He's not, yet. Since they are black women, no one's quick to pull the plug on his music or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
R. Kelly, which I think R. Kelly probably, probably get worse off than Bill Cosby on their music. Exactly.
Yeah.
My opinion. So thing, did do what he doing.
Yep, he did.
You know how the Hollywood business is. When I saw the whole the Hollywood business, when it comes to people on level sometimes.
Yeah, right. But hold on, Andrew. Let's let Miss J.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I know.
What you just say.
No, he was fine because he's made what he's, what he said is making a lot of sense. There is a choice. That's what I said earlier, Andrew, that when he this time in the trial, he said it out of his own mouth. And I think that is, again, reading on the jurors and watching different interviews, that's what they said that, really moved them to do say he's guilty this time. Just based on his conversation. I mean, based on his testimony, excuse me. So, and you're correct. We are in a climate, um, and you're right about R. Kelly. Did they go so that I was thinking the same way? Like no more OJ. In other words, no more, black person is going to get away with hurting another Caucasian or white woman. That was one of the things that crossed my mind too. Like he was being an scapegoat to prove a lesson they couldn't prove to him. Because OJ didn't, go to jail or whatever, not for the murder. So, everybody has a lot of conspiracies. Everybody has a lot of thoughts. I'm with you. I just cannot throw away everything that he has done for the black community, especially for Philadelphia area, and kids and giving opportunities and things like that. I just at right now I can't visualize throwing away all that good, though I do acknowledge and accept that he's done something bad. So that's where I'm at too, Andrew. I'm kind of like where you are as far as that's concerned because I don't know. I'm just not ready to really let go of that part, and I guess in time it will happen. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Miss J.
No, I'm just saying in time.
Go.
No, I'm just. Oh no, I'm cool. I'm just saying in time it would probably happen.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand what you guys are talking about, and about not being ready to throw away what he's done. Me myself, I'm not going to throw away what he's done for the community. All the good times, the role model position that he put, himself in, giving people the go get, giving people the oh man, I don't know, I can't even find the word, but giving them the motivation, to go to college and become doctors and stuff like that. Like I said, he had a television show on, to where as though there was a functional family, and I'm not gonna throw that away. But like I said, I lived in in an era to where as though there's a lot of races. Like I told Say before, Miss J, white only, black only, water fountain have to go in the back, And I don't see no justice. I don't know. I don't see no justice for them. I just don't see any justice. For them convicting him from for 3 to 10 years.
And considering, I think that's low.
After all what they did, they done raped our young girls. They done beat them. They done did all kind of stuff, and they still doing that stuff the other day. They're just not getting caught. And the majority of these people that came forward on Bill is white folks. It's like 60 of them. My understanding it was 60. That was something else. And what Andrew said made a lot of sense. Andrew was saying that with the R. Kelly situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. R. Kelly did all this stuff to black girls. They ain't doing nothing to R. Kelly. Now, if R. Kelly would have did that stuff with white girls, he would be in jail right now.
But we can't forget, though I don't want to forget about that side, because we can't forget that one, that Bill did put himself in that position. Two, he admitted to putting himself in that position. So we can't forget that part. Like I gotta be, yeah. It's not like a bunch of a bunch of white girls said we gonna go get Bill. I don't know if that happened or not. I don't know nothing about how they got together. However, the fact that he did take responsibility for those two facts, we cannot ignore that either. We can't ignore that he put himself in that position. As painful as it may be, as disappointing as it may be, I remember earlier you mentioned, did he let down the black family? I think that he didn't, because number one, it was not really his show was to inspire. He's not his show. I think that's the problem with us separating the man from the actor. You know, he is still a man. He is still imperfect. Regardless of what we saw on TV, he was just a man. And I think that we get so caught up in television in general, with the characters. And like we see some of, not just Mr. Cosby, but a lot of them have fall from grace. You got singers that have drug problems and they fall from grace where they cannot perform because they're in rehab. You got other actors and actresses that fall, they have their fall from grace because of their problems. I think our biggest things that separating the man from the man that we've seen on TV, because those are two different individuals, and the man on TV is the man that inspired, the man that talked about family and structure and things of that nature. I don't see no harm in holding on to that man, but still acknowledging that the man himself, the individual, is just imperfect. He made a terrible mistake. He put himself in a terrible position. You know, I he gave them the tools they needed to get him, in a way, because if he did not put himself in that position, they could not came after him in that way. So somebody waited forever to get him. Maybe somebody says maybe it's time now or whatever. I just don't. I guess my biggest pet peeve is why did it take so long. I know that I've heard stories about women that are victims and they say it doesn't, you can't always, it takes years sometimes. It takes lots of years. But they took them almost 40, 50 years. So for me, that's like, wow. So not being a victim, I'm not going to take that away from them, because maybe it did take them 50 years because they felt he was such a powerful man. And maybe they waited until he was less powerful to speak up. And then the Me Too movement came out and it gave everybody courage. So we can't, I don't know. I'm a woman, so that's kind of how I think. And I know they're white women, but abuse is abuse, and everybody moves differently when it comes to being abused, especially sexually.
You're right. You're 100% right. And I agree with you 100%. But for this case right here, it's just something in my heart. Okay, it's telling me that the reason why all these women came forward is because of money. And I'm putting it point blank, money. Bill Cosby is a rich, rich, rich man. And this is a payday for the majority of the women. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't do right by that by some of them women.
Wrong.
He admits that he gave some of them some deals.
Right.
But during that era, they probably asked for them deals. They probably was up in there. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did back then. They dropped deals, Miss J. These days, they start, whatever, meth and all of that other rest of the stuff that they do out there. But back then, and you know it because you're not in that era with Bill, and I'm not in that era. Bill is way older than me. Bill is old enough to be my daddy. Okay? But at the same token, back then, Miss J, that's what they was doing. They was getting pills. They was
but when someone is, I gotta do it for women, but when someone is drugged they're not in their right frame of mind. So any kind of sexual advancement is not getting a verbal yes. I watched a series on Showtime. Everybody's trying to figure out what when is it a yes and when is it a no, especially now with the Me Too movement. And and so they had some great comments, some skits I can't mention on the show, but they it's a hard line. But if someone is drugged, they cannot give you a verbal yes. That, to me, that's not a real yes. And so I gotta say, for those women that, yeah, regardless, if whether I smoked a blunt with you, whether I snorted a line with you, whether I did whatever, if I am not in my full mind and you're making sexual advancements and I'm not really able to say yes or no, that is not a consent to have sex with me. And that is the bottom line. So the fact that whether he drugged 5 women or all 60, the fact that he did drug them is, and then went on to do whatever he was going to do, that's the problem.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. But I don't think that he, drugged those women. You understand, like putting it in their drink without their consent. And the majority of the women, my experience with women, if you out there and you taking drugs with them and things of that nature, they know what that. And deep down inside, they know what the next step is.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Okay, but my thing. Okay, let's finish out. But my thing is that if you were a gentleman,
right?
Okay, y'all up there, y'all smoking weed, y'all dropping pills, y'all doing whatever the crazy stuff,
right?
And then all of a sudden, they get horny or whatever.
But that's their problem. That's not the woman's problem. See, that is the problem right there. That's his problem if he gets horny. That's not the woman's problem, because she could maybe just want to be getting high and kicking it and feeling her high. It still does not say just because she get high with him. Yeah, that's a stereotype, and that leads to miscommunication, because that's probably what Bill thought. Just because if someone has a drink with you, they get their buzz on or whatever their case may be, that's not saying, okay, now I got my buzz on, I just want to screw whoever comes along, or I'm ready for sex. That's an unfair assessment.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I don't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. But I don't know. It's just deep down inside that these women, I'm not saying all, okay, but a lot of them, went up there. They knew what was going on. Bill was a powerful man at the time when they was messing with him, and also he was very famous, and he had a lot of money.
That is true.
They was happy to go up there, they was happy to go up there kicking it with Bill and stuff like that. And Bill, to my understanding, ever since I've been knowing him, I could look at him, and tell that he was a dog toward women anyway.
Well, I don't know about that part.
It's not, that's just the way I saw it.
Right.
But when I'm saying, it does, if you're going to be in that man's presence, and put yourself vulnerable for that man to do some bad stuff to you,
well,
I don't know. It's just not right. You know what I mean? And then, like, I can understand if like a lot of our black women, they'd have been raped by white men left and right.
Yeah, but but he again, you get.
The media you ain't gonna know, because the media ain't saying nothing. A lot of black women took white men to court and stuff like that.
Yes, they did a series on Showtime about they did a series on Showtime. I posted about it, about being pursued back in the day. But again, you know, I get everything that you're saying as far as it may have some race to do with it, you know, racism involved. But again, I just can't excuse that he did admit to what he had did, and whether or not, and I don't think as a woman, whether they knew it or not, still does not mean they're giving him consent for sex. I mean, that has to be a straight yes. Just because you bought me a drink and gave me a little bit of drug, or a little bit of dope, or whatever, doesn't mean that I owe you my body. And
Right.
and
Agree
so
with you 100.
so the fact that he put himself in that predicament, and I think some of that too could have been a power trip. You like you said back in the day, back in that time, it was almost like a trophy to, you know, be with a Caucasian woman if he was a black man. Even though he stayed married to his
That's right.
black wife, um, doesn't mean that he didn't have infidelity issues. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because he had those issues with these particular women, um, that in some way had their own individual power as well. And then again when the Me Too movement came out, they were able to put all that power together and say, okay, now we can get them. You know, we don't really know the trauma they went through, so I don't want to take that away from them trying to make it just like all racial, because they are individuals
No,
and
I
they,
don't think.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're at Los Angeles. Is back on. I'm gonna click them on, and also they got all the other callers. You know, they're listening in. And if you guys want to join us, we only got 7 minutes left on the show. But if you guys want to join us and add something on to it, please press one, and I'll let you in. Okay. Okay. We got somebody want to come in.
go ahead.
Call us. State your name and where you calling from.
Tommy Cole, Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Hey,
Hey,
Tommy.
Tommy.
Hello, Mr. John and Miss J. How
Hello.
are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good, good, good. Yeah, I was listening in on your on the situation here. Now, Bill Cosby, hey, I remember Bill from way back, and I loved him. I thought he was very funny. He did a lot of commercials, and he did a lot of things. I had great respect for him. Him going into doing the things he did. Now, I can't justify that in no way. Whether he was black or white.
Right.
And in many cases, as when you're dealing with judicial system, sometimes some folks, because of their nationality, they're able to get away with things quicker than others. But but in no way I can justify Mr. Bill Cosby, and also to he admitted that he was bringing folk over, and he was drug dealer.
Right.
He admitted these things, and so it would be hard to even justify that. And but even for others who get away with it, I mean, they're still wrong too. If they're not perhaps have to suffer like Mr. Cosby does. But John, I can't see where there would be any justification. I'm not trying to be a judgmental whatsoever, but there are laws, and
Right.
when you break those laws, there are punishments,
That's right.
and I think that's what Mr. Cosby lies in. And,
Yeah.
and, and one more thing, love you guys show all the time, man. I'm always listening, proud of you all, and you guys keep doing those good things.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, Tommy, we love you too, man. We appreciate your support. We really do. And I'm gonna keep you on the air with it, okay? And also, and I can understand what you're saying. You're 100% right. What you're saying, I'm not saying you're wrong, but it was something Andrew brought up that I hadn't talked about. I hadn't thought of. That was the R. Kelly situation, whereas though R. Kelly went and he abused a lot of these ladies, these women,
Girls.
sexually, you know, but they was black women, and they've been trying to stop R. Kelly for a long time, but these women are black. Nobody seen nothing about that. But all in a sudden, these women's over here is white. Everybody. So in other words, what I'm saying is that would have been white girls he was doing that with. You think that they wouldn't have his butt behind bars or stopped him by now?
Well, I wouldn't doubt it at all. Like I say, the system is so unjust or unjust.
Yes.
Those things happen, and I think you're right. Had those ladies been white, yes, they would have put an end to him a long time ago. Like I say, because the system is so unjust, especially at times like these. So it seems like our Cajun brothers, they get away with a lot more than what we as blacks would do. Even though it's the same crime, but it seems like the punishment is more harsh for us than what it is.
Absolutely.
This is all I'm saying. You know, this is what I'm saying. Matter of fact, you from my hometown. And I know you remember the white only, colored only water fountain.
That's the way that Mr. John. That's scratch my head. But yes, sir. But hey, I remember the school.
Okay. So what I'm saying, you remember that day?
I remember, man. School, all black schools, you had all white schools until they began to integrate them. But everything was separate, man.
That's right. And listen, we done lived through racism. You understand? In our days, we done lived there. We could go certain places. So what I'm saying is that you can almost see when something is unbalanced. And this is what I see with Bill's situation. It's unbalanced. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, he's right for doing that. No. But with that said, with this, Jay, we only got 2 minutes left on the show. Could you please start closing this out?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, thank you, Andrew and Mr. Tommy, for calling in and sharing your thoughts. I think that everyone is little torn about how they should feel. Some people are adamant about how they feel, but some people are torn. And I just think that it's important that we remember, even though what he did was wrong, that we still try to hold on to his good. And that's all I got to say about the conviction of Bill Cosby. John L. Brown?
Only thing I say is just you guys, pray for Bill that if he decide to come in, get out or stay in. Pray for him. Pray for his heart and ask God to forgive whatever bad things he did. Okay, and I would like to hear, what's your thought, Andrew? You only got like about 5 seconds. And then Tommy. Andrew?
I guess we'll just do Tommy.
I agree with you, Tommy. I agree.
Awesome.
Okay, all right. Tommy?
Well, I would just encourage folks to do those things with their right all the time, man.
Yeah.
That way. That's what I want to fix.
All right. And I got one more thing to say. And for all your up and coming superstars, be careful what you do because it can come back to haunt you. Now back to you, Mr.
That's for everybody. Not just superstars, all of us. Because everything that we do, let's say old people say the dark always come to light. So just be careful, be happy, be blessed, and until next week, we're going to have a guest, and we look forward to sharing that guest with you guys. So, again, thank everybody for listening and joining us. And pray for Bill Cosby and his family. Peace and blessings.